Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. Hopefully you're here to join us for the next 3 hours because you got about 55 to 58 minutes here. Then the huge interview is being premiered with the Trust. I have my man, James Flower, with me today, back on the channel. Has been a while. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. Thank you. Yourself?
All good, mate. All the better for seeing you and already knowing how you're going to end the stream when I end it another way. So let's get this show on the road. All right, so we've got a few Spurs stories to talk about. And if we have time, there's some other stories. But we are going to be very, very time constrained because I don't want to overlap the show that is coming. You will be automatically redirected. And if you don't know, there is a big interview coming up with me, Dave, and Martin, the chair of the Trust. The interview you never thought you'd see. The questions being asked that they've never been answered. And it's a really, really... I took a lot away from it. I've learned a lot more about the Trust, understand them a bit more. But there are going to be more of these things. When I told you we're doing this, James, you were quite happy this interview was going ahead, weren't you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's always good to get difference of opinions, regardless in what it is, whether it's good, bad, or the ugly. It's always good to see the other side because they always say it's two sides to everyone's story. So what we believe or think could be completely wrong.
There you go. So first of all, before we get into the subjects, let's say hello to everyone as we always do. So, the Sideman, big up to you. I hope you're good. I hope you are. Eddie's, big up to you. Oscar Peters, who I was just speaking to via the chat on We Are Tottenham TV. So, it is good to see you. Sean Slater, my man, my brother, my friend, who is unwell and has been in hospital stay. I don't know if he's still there or if he's at home resting. We all wish you a very, very speedy recovery. If people can send their messages to Sean, that would be awesome. But big up to you, buddy. Bertie Hotspur, big up to you. Andrew Gregory, big up. Tempest Fugia, haven't seen you for a while, my man. I hope you're well. Rich Saman is in there. Colin Crossamano is here. Ryan McFarland is here. Big up. Twig, another member of Tottenham on Tour. Big up to you, sir. Stuart727 is here. Brinketic is here as always. Hope you're well too. We have Darren Johnson in the house. And finally, Mark Cousins. Right. First story, and it was the headline. I had it. I put do a Spurs Dare to Desire. And then someone, the big Angie error, replied to it and said, to Desiree is to do a. So that was the title of the show. And let's bring up the first slide, because obviously it's broken big time. We are apparently now in talks for him. Now, James, do you know anything about him, obviously, apart from what we've all seen and the clips and whatever, and what do you reckon?
No, I've probably only seen what everybody has seen, to be honest. But to be honest, I'm happy with it. I mean, me and you started speaking more and more the day you put out that tweet about Raya, right? And I'm not going to say anything, but we did. So the fact that we are moving like this, I'm not afraid of it. I'm quite encouraged by it. I think Archie Gray, I knew he was coming a little while ago, which we spoke about. I think he's a great signing. I'm happy to see Bergvall. This lad, I'm happy to see. I don't get what we're going to do wrong by signing these kind of players. And these kind of players, I'm hoping, are going to replace the Hills. You know, the Lestelsos will probably be sold, the Højbjergs, the Skips. So if we sold all those and brought kids in and then bought one or two marquee signings, I'm happy with that.
So before we go any further, I just want to say thank you, Ken Saxton, because I should have done this at the beginning. And it's a very important day today for Americans. So all of our American supporters around the world, whether you're back home in the States or living abroad elsewhere, happy 4th of July to you. I hope you're having a wonderful time, enjoying the festivities. I have to say, like I said earlier this morning, this day is a very important day to me as well, because 32 years ago today, I got my mitzvah. So I'll never ever forget July the 4th, apart from when I'm live on air and been asked or been told by Ken. So thank you, Ken, for reminding me. Happy July the 4th to all the Americans out there. Right, Douay. Again, it's someone I don't know anyone about until all the rumours came out. But as people have seen, I've taken a back seat to jumping on every single transfer rumour. James just mentioned one where I got burned very, very badly last summer by this man with me. And not just that, the rumours that were coming out and come out every year, I get myself into such a blind rage because the journals are saying it's on, it's off, it's no, we can't pay. So I'm taking a step back. I'm not blowing a gasket at every single deal. I've seen the videos. I have a compilation video that I'm going to share it. We're going to watch it together. It's about 4 minutes long. I might not play the whole thing. This great guy, I'm going to share his Twitter as well. Does a lot. He's quite new to Twitter, but he puts out some brilliant compilations. We all know that compilations can make a player look good. But I've heard from a lot of people that say this guy's a monster. At such a young age, he's a monster. So if people, I'm just to play, we'll play a couple of minutes of it and we'll all be able to see it together. So let me just get it on. And like I said, it's this guy here. So if anyone is on Twitter before I start doing that, this guy here, I will put his Twitter account in the comments if it will allow it to me. Does it share? No, but I will put his Twitter handle in there later on. I am now going to play the video and we'll have a couple of minutes. Can everyone see the video? Yeah, James, you can see it?
Yeah, mate.
Okay, cool. So, wait a minute. I've got to turn the sound off so we don't get copyrighted. That would have been great, wouldn't it? There we go. Thank God I remembered there. So, obviously, we know what these videos can do. But this guy, I think he's 19 at the moment. I think he's 19.
I think he's 18. I think he's 18.
Okay, so 18 turning 19. This guy, look at, he's built like a tank already. This, we have to get him. We have to get him.
No, of course.
I'm hearing a lot of people that are getting very, very excited. Obviously, don't get me wrong. If we have a choice, Eze or him, every single time I'm picking Eze. Every single time, because he is the man. Nice little bit of showboat in there. And that, I have to admit, that was a bit filthy. Unnecessary.
I've said all along, and I know I'll get hate for this, but I don't believe that Kulu fits into our system. Somebody that wants to cut in. That doesn't. Everything that I've seen from Ange so far is not that. Everything I've seen from Ange is he wants it for me. And if I'm honest, Eze's better in a cam, and I would rather see James Maddison in a cam.
Very, very good. I mean, I'll stop it there. We've seen it. So let me just copy and paste his Twitter handle so I can put it in the chat so people can see it because he's fairly new to Twitter. I speak to him via DMs. I don't know who he is, but he has put out. We all see these video compilations, but he has put out some great compilations. That's his Twitter handle that will come in the chat. There it is. So if anyone wants to follow him, give him a follow. But let's have a look what the chat have said about him. What are people's thoughts? So we've seen. Let's have a look. Big up, Ray. I hope you're good and well. Good we signed Gray. I'm delighted with Gray. But why can't we? We'll come on to that as well. I do believe. Actually, we'll have a little bit of it. Go on, James.
No, for me, our two best signings last season were our goalkeeper and our centre back, maybe our left back. And which one of them was Premier League proven?
The way I agree with you, I do agree with that. But the way I've always said it, and I've been saying it for a while, is I don't mind buying, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way. These youngsters we're buying, I refer to them as a lump of coal. And with a lump of coal, if you put it under pressure, it can turn into a diamond. I am all for signing the Archie Grays of this world, who is lumps of coal, who looks like they could potentially become a diamond. But you need to have the diamonds around them. You look when Liverpool blood a youngster or bring a youngster in, it's after they've made 2 or 3 additions to their first team to say, right, that's that. Now, we might be doing it the other way around. We might, I have to say, Class, yeah, that argument doesn't, that's the best argument anyone can have. But first of all, KPV, big up, everybody. Hope you're okay. I've still been going through it. I just want to say thank you to everyone for this. KPV, you know, you've always got our support, brother. always. But getting back to it, James, I always see that you've got to sign some diamonds. And when I say diamonds, I don't mean the elite of the elite, but I would like to see some Premiership. And obviously, if everyone says you could sign one Premiership player, realistically, this summer, I would say over 90%. Say Eze. I think it's done. And when I say done, I think deal dead. Because I just can't see how the structure is going to get met. How we're going to do it. Palace are going to stay firm.
Yeah.
Don't you think we do need? It's all good. Bergval's coming. Werner, I wouldn't say he's Premiership. He's played in the Premiership. I don't think he's quality. That's for other people to have their opinion. But we need to bring in some proven quality. Wouldn't you say this window?
Yeah, like you said, like with Eze, I don't want Eze. I think he's a very good player. I don't think he fits into our system. I would much rather us spend that money on someone like Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney, and then look for a right winger, because Son's going to play because of what he brings into the club, not just talent, money. I think we then need a proper goal scorer, because I know Brennan Johnson got a lot of stick last season, and rightly so, but he did put that ball in the box a hell of a lot. So if we had somebody to finish it, I think who knows what happens. So for me, I would go all out on a striker, and then go from there.
Exactly. We'll have to wait and see. Now, talking about that, let's obviously the next slide I've got, which will add a bit more weight to this on what we're talking about, is Paul O'Keefe. I don't know if it was in a response to this tweet directly, but it was to do with Douay. You got to be careful. To do with Douay. So, Paul O'Keefe has said, we need numbers. We've let several out of the club already. Ange has made it clear that we need more movement in the first 3 weeks of July. There's a coaches meeting tomorrow, and players coming in on Saturday to do their tests. Sunday training starts for non-internationals. Now, I do you read that? And people in the comments as well. Let's get your input as well. How are you reading that? Do you reckon Ange is getting a little bit frustrated that there's not been more? We said technically he said he wanted 2 before pre-season, and technically Werner and Gray is, and you could probably say, like we did with Destiny, say Bergval is 3 technically because he's coming in. Obviously, he didn't sign there. But do you think he would have wanted more established? It's hard again with the Euros and the Copper. What do you think? When you're reading between the lines of Paul O'Keefe, it could be very simple. Bang, this is it. But what do you reckon is being said right now?
I think that Ange is saying what we're saying. I know a lot of people like to hang on to things, like when Ange said, "Oh, no one comes in if I don't agree at first." I've heard that millions and millions of times. But what you've just shown there, if that's come from Ange, no one will repeat that. No one will say, "Oh, but he wanted everybody out." Because for all we know, he could have said, I want X, Y, Z out. You know, he said, there may be people that people like, i.e. Bentancur. He might be saying, right, Bentancur's got to go. But we don't know. And I mean, Paul O'Keefe is pretty much as close to the club as we're going to get without being social media trained. So if he's saying that, I do believe him. And I mean, it's so early to say, but say now we go and sell Højbjerg, Lo Celso's, and so on, and they're being replaced by the kids. I don't mind that, as long as we're then going to replace the Bentancurs or the Sars or so on with world-class talent, then I'm fine with that. Because I think having loads of youngsters coming up through the ranks is a good thing, especially when you've got, say, if you're swapping Archie Gray for Højbjerg. I think that's cool. I'm happy with that. But the first team, we need to, like you're saying, for me, I think we need a striker and a right winger, and then I'll be happy with our squad going forward.
Okay, so just quickly, I want to say hello to when you see On the Ball, that is Ben or Simeon. I'm thinking it's Ben on their sister channel. They've just done a huge plug for the show we've got coming up. It's always a pleasure to see Ben Osimhen in the stream. So yeah, let's see what everyone's saying. Oh, Rich is here as well. Big up, Rich. This is the thing. I think when we speak Eze, as much as, and believe me, I wanted him over Maddison last year, I don't think it's happening. So when we're looking at, like you said, let's have a quick chat. Let's have a quick chat about Neto, and I'll keep going through I love this guy. I think on his day and when he's fit, he's right up there with the best of the best in the league at the moment. But our Tottenham, and the worrying, I don't know if it's a worrying thing or not, the talk seems to be that this one is progressing along quite a lot. Now, if he does come in, people will say that's the first team quality I want, but I don't know if I want to pay for him when he's only going to be fit. He could come and be very, very fit and not get injured. But let's face it, with our track record and his track record, would people be happy? Would you be happy if Neto came in, James?
No. If people are saying that Lo Celso is only worth 10, 15 million because he's never fit, then redirect exactly the same attitude towards Neto. Neto is only worth 15, 20 million to me because he's never fit. What is the point?
Listen, I mean, I don't know how long his contract on, but yeah, if we're talking Neto going, you're looking above. I think you're looking above Eze money.
I think you're looking at 50 million, yeah, 40, 50. Oh, the only thing that helps us is I think Spurs will sit down at the table and go, come on, mate, he's never fit. You think we're paying 50 million for a guy that played 10 games, and hoping that they're going to kind of drop it down a little bit and hope that that Neto's camp will say, look, we want to leave, and kind of fight that corner. But realistically, if we're paying more than 25, 30 million, I think we're going to overpay. And I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I think he's a fantastic player. And he fits the left foot, right foot, like left wing, right wing role. He fits everything. But if he's never fit, how good is he if he's not fit?
This is the thing. And do we want to spend big money on a player that isn't going to be fit, isn't going to be ready? Just a quick question. We're not going to do questions at the end because I don't want to say, because obviously, like I said, everyone, if you're new to the channel, which I don't see many new names, we're having a hard stop about 5-2 or about 2 minutes to, so we can switch over to the premiere of the Trust meeting. Confirmation again with Paul O'Keefe saying so many going out. You still add this. There is still Højbjerg, there's still Emerson, there is still Spence, there is still Lo Celso. So I think Daniela, he will be Milan bound by the end of next week.
Yeah, I watched the show with Paul O'Keefe. I don't know if you see it, and obviously I don't want to plug any channels, but
I watched when he was on the Last Word of Spurs. Yeah, he was on the Last Word of Spurs.
And to be honest, I've seen a few people go on next, like obviously like we were saying on after this, guys. So make sure you stick around. I love seeing other people's opinions. And even he said, look, they're looking to get rid of like 9 players. And if that is the case, then I'm so looking forward to it. I really, really am. And like you said, this young winger, that's exactly what we need. Someone that's a bit fearless, someone that's going to actually drive with the ball, someone that's going to attack their box. I was brought up in an era with there was David Ginola, and then your Gareth Bales, your Eden Hazard, your Iron Robbins, and so on and so on. So to have somebody that attacks the box and beat his man like that, if he does it how he does it, like we've seen, then I'm really excited. I hope that goes through.
Exactly. I mean, we're looking at there's people when you say Eze over Neto. I pick Eze every single time. There isn't a player right now you could offer me, and I won't say Eze on top of, because I've just loved him for ages. But also, as there's another one that's going. There's another one, so that's 5 that we've spoken about still. And if we go back to Paul O'Keefe's tweet, he said we need numbers. We've let several out of the club already. There's still 5 out. So I can see now with Ansberg's made it clear he wants more movement in the first 3 weeks. And I'm guessing that is coming as incomings, obviously, not outgoings. But we have let so many people go. Potentially another 5 could go. And training starts Sunday.
Well, if you go through it, even in the front row, you've got Hill that could leave. Solomon,
Oh, there's another one.
Troy Parrott. There's 3 in the front line. Scarlett could go out on loan. So there's 4 that were in our first team. Then you've got Lo Celso, Højbjerg, Skip. There is so many that could leave. And I'm not against that. I think we could do with some fresh faces. And normally, fresh, hungry faces, and you get a lot of hungry kids nowadays trying to prove a point. You get a lot of flops. My only worry is the last wingers we bought from France have been terrible.
Yes. Especially Nkudu and Ng. I will say it now. Do you know what? You mentioned Parrott. Before we move on to the next subject, and Rinketic, it's exactly what your question is about, the next subject. So we will be dealing with that. Troy Parrott, We Are Tottenham TV said it on their update today, and I was watching it and I was like, do you know what? I actually think they got a point now. They're talking about the way that things are going. I have got a funny feeling like them now. It's only when they said it that I started thinking about it. I've got a feeling Parrott might stay. Because if we can't bring in a Morgan, whether you want a Carl Walker-Peters, whether you want a Marcus Edwards, we are struggling with homegrown players or club trained.
Yeah.
We have to have a certain amount of club trained. So at the moment, the way this is going, when you mention Parrott on that list, and he could be on that list, but I reckon he's not on that list as in we 100% out the door, he's up for sale. Because unless we can bring someone in, whether we like them or not, we have to look at our club trained players, don't we?
Yeah. And I was told by somebody, a little birdie, that not the 2 strikers that are staying are not leaving unless a big money move comes in. So, i.e., like for Richarlison, there's a big money move coming for Richarlison, then they'll sell him. Otherwise, they'll keep him. But I would probably rather sell Richarlison than Parrott, because Parrott's probably worth 5 million max. Richarlison, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, 30, 40 million. So even though I don't think Parrott's better than Richarlison, I think I'd rather sell Richarlison and get that money in and then buy an Ivan Toney.
I'm still on the Gyökeres train. I still want Gyökeres, but I really hope he hasn't gone to Arsenal. And I saw just very quickly, Julian put up, Arsenal have signed a serious player in California. Has he gone? Has it developed?
You know what annoys? You know what really, really annoys me about Tottenham fans, and I'm not saying this guy or anybody else. I'm not saying nobody even knew who this guy was 6 months to a year ago, and now he's a serious player. But if we was to buy somebody like that, he would be like, oh, well, he's a backup, or why would we sign a backup player, or blah, blah, blah. I just think, I don't know. How can someone be a serious player after one good season?
Well, what I will say that obviously you weren't directing it at Julian. It's the whole Spurs.
No.
It's the whole Spurs. And listen, I've been guilty of it myself. All I will say, and what I learned from last summer, is you never know if these people do watch Italian football. A lot more people are actually I remember watching Italian football because of Gaza during the 90s. It was the league to watch. And on Channel 4, I always watched it. You never know how much they watch. Then he's had a good Euros. We've been linked. And then obviously the filth that they've come. And we spoke about this yesterday. I think he goes to Arsenal regardless.
But what about Amrabat? Amrabat was the same.
Oh, no. Amrabat was, mate, thank God we didn't get him. But
I think Euros.
I think at Arsenal he will do very, very well. I think at Arsenal he'll do. I think we've missed the boat on it. I couldn't see him coming. I've just seen my main man who's just got back from Germany, back to Toronto. Big up, Matt. I hope you're good and well, buddy. But yeah, Calafiori, I am one of the ones that you just said, James. I didn't even know what this name meant until a few weeks ago. But Ben at We Are Tottenham TV has seen him and rates him extremely high. Personally, he rates him extremely high. I don't know him well enough to say, but I think in an Arsenal shirt, which is where I think he's going to end up, he could end up being a very, very good player. But moving on, enough talking about that team down the road. Just, guys, there's 323 of you in here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of it. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please feel free to do so if you can. If you can't, no problem. But stay tuned for a very, very big show coming up after this. Right, I'm going to move on to the next slide. Richarlison. Let's start speaking strikers. Now, I've said for quite a while, and it looked like when he said, so I heard quite a while ago through someone close, not going to go into the reasons or what, but he's going to Saudi Arabia. That's what he said. Richarlison will be in Saudi Arabia by the start of the season. In fact, he actually said to me before, I think he said before the Copa America, I think he did, so that part's wrong. But he said he's going to Saudi. It's going to be 50 mil. And okay, so I kept it. And obviously the rumours started. Then he posted himself saying, I'm staying, or words to that effect.
I'm not leaving London or something, wasn't it?
That's right. I'm not leaving England. I think he said I'm not leaving England. That's right. He said not leaving England or the Premier League. Or what?
Yeah.
He said he's not leaving, which sounded cryptic to England, whatever it may have been. Then there was that picture of him dressed in the Middle Eastern clothing. Sorry I can't remember what the whole outfit is called. It said tongues wagging. And then obviously this is the rumour that won't go away. And now obviously from Ben Jacobs, or Jacobs Ben, whatever you want to say, Richarlison remains a target for Saudi. Al Ittihad and Al Hilal have both discussed him. Tottenham would expect 60 mil. Now, obviously, we know that league has got money, like the Chinese league did when all the players were going. I cannot see him going for 60 million.
I mean, fair play for starting your asking price so high, because I respect it, but get what you can, really. It's best start higher than get knocked down a little bit. You know, if you're a selling person, this is another thing I'd like to say. You know, if you're a selling person, like I've seen Dave, love Dave, love the morning brews, but he said just sell Richarlison, just sell Royale regardless, just get him gone. But if you're a selling person, it's like me saying, well, you want to sell your house. Well, let me give it to you half price. You just need to sell or move. It doesn't work like that. If our valuations are 25 mil, then pay it or leave. Richarlison there, I think that's very, very high, because I think they know that they're going to get knocked down a little bit. But I would take 40 million. I think 40 million for somebody that doesn't score more than 13 goals in a season is good value. And if they do offer that, then take it and reinvest and let's go again.
So the thing I've got with this, the thing with Richarlison, and again, guys, I want you in the chat to be active on this if you want to, if you can. Do we bring in, if he goes, we need two strikers, in my opinion.
We need two strikers now anyway, in my opinion.
But theoretically, yes, that would be wonderful. But let's be serious. If Richarlison stays, we're not getting two strikers, especially with the youth.
Oh, well, Richarlison and one. Sorry, I mean, like we need a total of.
But if Richarlison goes, then we definitely need two. Because I think Son needs to be used as a left winger next season, because I don't think he can play the striker role. I think not only do I not think he can play it, he can be devastating on the left. That's his best position. Your best player plays in his best position, in my opinion. But it's like, do we go get two strikers before he goes? If he's going, this is all if he's going. Do we wait for the money to come in and then people know we've got money? We're in a situation here now because people are going to know either way we do it. And okay, let's put it this way. If he goes, let's see what the chat say as well. If he goes and we need to buy two strikers, realistically, and I'm being totally, don't say Gyökeres and another 60, 70 million pound player. Who are the two you would bring? And that's to people in the chat. The two strikers you'd bring in if Richie went.
Who would you bring in?
Gyökeres, number one, because I love that player. I honestly think that guy could be something major. It's the other one. Do you know what? I know the other one. Jonathan David. So if I had two, put it this way, if we had to get two, we couldn't get Gyökeres, Jonathan David's always going to be my second. It's about deciding the first because Jonathan David, I think, will surprise people in the Premier League. He's in the Copa with Canada right now. Canada have only scored one goal in 3 games. He got it. The first game was great minds think alike, Gaz. Great minds think alike. I think his flexibility,
Mhm.
his abilities to play in different positions. I would definitely go for Gyökeres number one and David number two. But like I said, if Gyökeres can't come in, David is my number two, no matter what. What about you?
I don't know how much they would cost. I mean, Ferguson's going to cost you 90 million probably on his own. I don't know how much they cost, but I've been screaming for Ollie Watkins, and I would absolutely love Openda.
Oh, you've gone on about that's the one you keep going on about, isn't it?
I think if you pick an Ange type striker, Openda is so good in the box, and he's absolutely rapid. He's so quick. So when we do counter attack or get it out wide, because he can play wide or inside, you could almost sort of rotate the front three. So I would go Openda, and I've wanted Watkins for a long time.
I don't think we get Watkins. And
No,
the only way we even attempt or would get Watkins, which would take mega money anyway, would be with Lo Celso in the deal. Lo Celso Ramsey obviously hasn't worked, but it would be a substantial amount of money.
but if they said, do you reckon 50 million and Lo Celso?
I think it needs to be more. And also, I do not see Ollie Watkins, who's worked so hard to get where he is and get Champions League football, is going to say, obviously, if, and we're only talking again, if it was Ollie Watkins, I'm sure Spurs could sell him the souls that, listen, we're building a team that you will have Champions League football next year. But again, it's all what ifs, isn't it? It's all what ifs, whereas he's guaranteed Champions League football this season, regardless. I cannot see him going. Eddie, Shea Adams, when he went to Southampton, at one point he looked like an animal and might be doing something. I can see why people might say, worth a punt. I wouldn't go near him. But do you know what we're talking about? I love the way I'm starting to learn to do these segues, like a professional. So we're talking about identifying talent. Someone very close to our heart has just gone to the Geordies. They have announced, obviously, Dan Ashworth is all the problem with Manchester United. Paul Mitchell is going to rock up in the northeast. Obviously, he is very, very well remembered at Tottenham. The dream ticket, him and Poch. What's your thoughts? And people in the chat again, your thoughts on Paul Mitchell now being at Newcastle?
Oh, fair play to him. He's good. He's good at his job, isn't he? No one can deny he's good at his job. But I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, we've missed a trick. We should have signed him." And I think sometimes X's are X's for a reason. And I mean, I can only speak for myself. I really like the way we're going forward at the moment. There are a few things that are missing. I mean, I've said to you and everybody, I'm Levy out. I've always said I'm Levy out. All I've asked for is 3 top quality signings each window. Last season, we got that for me. Maddison, Van der Ven and Vicario. You can put a doggy in there. This season so far, we've had none. So if we can get another 2 or 3 in, I like the way we're going. So I don't wish or pray for somebody else. I'm happy to see the way we're going. And I try to focus on us a bit more. You know, there's a lot of negative being thrown around for no reason. The amount of negative Bergwire's got and Archie Gray, and they haven't even kicked a ball. It's just mind-boggling for me.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, we all know why Paul Mitchell left. We all know my dream job turned into a nightmare. We know the rumours or whatever, people were like, try and bring him back. Let's be serious. He was never, ever coming back.
No.
Whilst, exactly like DXK has just said, there is no chance. Whether you're like myself in the way I feel about the board or you're the exact opposite, everyone knows what happened or the fallout is between Mitchell and Levy. The funny thing I found with this is he's gone to a club that right now can't spend money. Now, once Newcastle clear the decks and can spend money, then I think, oh, good God, this man knows how to identify talent. This man, no matter where he's gone, he identifies talent. Newcastle can't spend. Maybe this means in the back end right now, Newcastle are getting ready to sell. Maybe Newcastle are ready, who knows, Let's just hope it's not Isaac. Let's just hope it's not Isaac or Bruno to Arsenal, especially Isaac or either of those actually. But there's also talk of Anthony Gordon going to Liverpool, although I can't see him doing that because of the Liverpool-Everton connection. But if they
sell, James, from what I saw, if they sell Gordon, that pretty much wipes their debt clear because it's homegrown debt. So if they sell, not home, like an English quota debt. So if they sell an English player like Gordon, and obviously the money they're talking about 80, 90 million, that would pretty much wipe the slate clean, and they will then be able to go big again. So that's the worry.
That is the worry. And obviously we know Newcastle have got the money to spend. And when they can spend it, it's not have they got the money. It's, oh, yeah, they've got a big up, Terry. I'm sorry I'm being quite slow on the comments. There's 361 of you in here. I'm trying to keep up. Big up to you all. If you have put questions, I haven't been able to star them because, like I said, hard stop. But if I do see any come through, we'll try and answer them. But, yeah, I think another way you got to look at it is Paul Mitchell has joined. I don't know if Eddie Howe is the manager of Newcastle come the first game of the season. The only reason I say that is, for me, if and when England get kicked out, or if they win it, which I highly doubt, but it'd be typical we win it playing badly, I want Eddie Howe to be the next England manager. I want Eddie Howe. I think with this team and playing this style of play,
he's quite defensive, though, isn't he? He is a defensive manager. The first thing is don't concede goals. Hence why he put Dunn left back, and they kind of played a flat back five. Like, I mean, I don't want him as an English manager. You know who I want as the English manager? There's only one man I actually really want, and that's so I could fall in love with him again, and that's Poch. I think Poch would get the English role, just playing in the way we want to.
I actually think if Eddie Howe had this England squad, he plays so much attacking football when he has the opportunity to, that he would. And I think, honestly, I mean, Matt's who else are people thinking for England? We got my man. Listen, he is available, so don't be surprised if his name majorly gets linked. I'm surprised Leicester. I'm very surprised Leicester went for what's his name, Cooper.
I like Cooper. I don't know why, and there's something about Cooper. And some of the people I know played under Cooper, and they said that he is very, very good at coaching when they were in the youth England.
He has got a very good reputation. That I'm also with coaching young people and all that. I would love to see an Eddie Howe with this team. Right, that's Tottenham kind of news wrapped up. We've got 15 minutes or so, so I thought we'd have a good bit of a laugh because someone sent this to me, and let's all laugh at this. Tanguy Ndombele, the name you thought you got rid of, is set to sign in as new OGC Nice player. And I said to you, James, behind the scenes, they're going to have to change their name from OCG Nice to OMG, what the fuck have we done? Because this, how contract valid for 2 years, how is anyone giving this guy a contract? Seriously, I mean, before you go, the reason I say that, we all know the ability he's got. We all know the ability this man has on the ball to be an incredible player. But he has shown throughout the entire length of his contract and loans that he just don't care. Whether it's something, and if it's something going behind the scenes and mental health wise, then obviously that's something he needs to deal with. And if it's that, then that would make a lot more sense. But based on general talent, this guy had the lot. But I wouldn't give him £1 a week wages.
I remember we saying the beginning of last season that he could be unbelievable, and then Ange straight away got rid of him on loan, and we thought, okay, if anybody can turn it around because of the talent, like you're saying, it's definitely him. But the talent that the guy's got, it's ridiculous. I mean, and the best of the best have come out and said it. Declan Rice. I remember when he first signed for us, Declan Rice said he's the best player in the Prem, the way he beat 2-3 men and just glided off. I hope that he's agent or his family has sat down with him on a one-to-one basis and said, look, it's over. You've got one more chance and it's over. So do you want to fight or do you want to just retire? You've got enough money in the bank. What do you want to do? And I hope that he said, no, I want to fight. I want to do this. I want to be a footballer. So let's hope that if he did have problems behind the scene or whatever it was, that his family have been there to support him and also give him a good kick up the arse and say, look, this is your last chance, mate. Otherwise it's over.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's face it, the guy doesn't need to do a day's work for the rest of his life. He has made, unless he's whatever he's done with his own money, but technically the money he has earned off Tottenham Hotspur, he is on the back of it, earned a very, very nice living for himself. But surely when you go back in your life, and like you, when you got kids and you're going to go show your kids, this is what I achieved, this is what's it going to show? Honestly, there's going to be a moment where he looks at it and goes, what have I done? And this guy seriously could have had it all, couldn't he? He really could. If you want to, I'll tell you what, we looked at a compilation of Doué that made him look good. My God, the compilations that came out of Tanguy at the time were probably the best, bar Messi and Ronaldo.
Me and my son went to Spurs Villa, and that was his first game when we won 3-1, I believe, and he scored that goal. And my son, I mean, he was probably 7 at the time. He was like, he's good. And then after the game, we went and got his name on the shirt because we both was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then it just died. It completely died. And I'm not taking it away from him, but I think it died at Spurs because I thought he was going to come and play for Poch. And I think Poch didn't really play like the cam, like Dele Alli wasn't really energetic. But when he got on the ball, he was so efficient. And I think that he maybe thought he was going to go into that. And then we want Nuno, Mourinho. Not that that makes it right because he's been in Turkey. He should have torn that league to part. So yeah. I feel good luck to Nice. I hope for his sake and Nice's sake that he turns it around. But if he doesn't, then it's over. I don't see where he goes because if Nice go, you ain't good enough. Where do you go from there? League 2, League 3? Then is he going to do that when he's getting paid the money he's getting paid?
It's true. It's true. And you know what? For the last 13 minutes or so, we will take questions. If anyone wants to put questions, put Q or at TOT or a super chat if you can or if you want to. There is no obligation whatsoever. Just put Q or at TOT and we'll get them up. But whilst we're waiting for them to come through, one final bit, and I am shocked by this. He signed a new contract. Eric Ten Hag. Well, no, I'm not shocked. Obviously, I was shocked that he was staying, but obviously, if they're going to say, right, you're our manager, I think it was right that they said, okay, you're going to be our man. Here you go. This is the faith in you. You look at it, he's won 2 trophies at United. Yes, they had a dire season, but this is the first season under Ineos, isn't it? Or where Ineos have got a huge part to play. What do we think of Man U next season?
I think it would have been harsh to fire him on what based on last season because a lot of people look at the league table, but they had injuries where they had no back four for a long time, a long time. Similar to us, if not worse. So, and he still managed to grab a couple of trophies. He had the Ronaldo problem, the Rashford problem. He's had Marcus Greenwood, or whatever his name's going on in the back. Like, it hasn't been easy. So, I mean, giving him another contract, I think that's brave, but I definitely wouldn't have fired him. Let him prove his point.
Do you agree? I do agree with Gary here. I don't think. I mean, you got to remember, we looked at it, and I think it was after we sacked Mourinho. Was it after we sacked Mourinho? He was the number one choice, and then it came out that they weren't impressed with him. Obviously, we saw him against Ajax in the. I liked him. Obviously, I agree. I don't think the shit show that is United, the Sancho, the Ronaldo, the injuries. Yeah. I mean, what's I can't remember his name. Anthony. Is that not one of the biggest wastes of money?
Anthony,
of all time. I think 10. Oh yeah. Also, I don't really want to go into him, but Mason Greenwood also during his time. He's not had it easy, but do you reckon this year that, I mean, if they bring in De Ligt is massive. De Ligt is massive.
I don't really rate De Ligt too much. I think he's a very good footballer, but I think he's a pretty crap defender. So I think I don't know. It's one of those. I think he can't play the style that he wants to play with players like Rashford. Rashford's too self-centered. He doesn't want to win for the team. He wants to be the main man.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with Anthony and people like that. When they do get their big move, they want to be the main guy. But I don't know. I think it's harsh. I think people sack managers way too early nowadays.
Oh, mate, look at our club. I think it's the perfect perfect showing on that. But got a question from Stuart. Big up, Stuart. I hope you're good and well, buddy. If Newcastle are selling, would you take a punt on Sven Botman?
No,
You wouldn't? Why not?
we don't need him. Just gonna. I think what we're gonna do. A lot of people are saying centre back, and things like that. But I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna overcrowd it too much. And I think you're gonna then like. How do I explain this? For me, Ragushin has got one more year. If he's on the bench all season, then that's a problem. And then I think you're going to get exactly the same with Botman. Botman wants to play he's a fantastic player. He's going to want to come in and play every week. If he doesn't play for a season, that's going to become a problem.
Yep.
I think we need a squad. A lot of people say we need a squad. Not necessarily just being a squad of world-class players. It's about being a squad that want to push each other and work together. And that's what I liked about Archie Gray. He came in and said, look, I know I'm not going to be first team, basically. I'm here to push the squad. That's what you need around the squad.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Botman's a great player. I think Newcastle, again, it was another defender we were linked with by the media, by the press. I think there was genuine interest, but don't know how far it went. But yeah, I just can't see him coming in now. You people, well, what we've got to remember as well, at the moment, we've got to remember that Ashley Phillips is coming through. Dorrington.
Who's fantastic.
Ashley Phillips, like I said, I've said it before. Oh, you just decided to leave me, James. You want to say he's fantastic and disappear? That's fine.
It flicked. I don't know what happened there. The whole screen flicked.
Yeah, you're being a diva. You're being a diva. No, when it comes to Ashley Phillips, it's amazing being out here in Toronto. Never met a Blackburn Rovers fan in my life. One of my my wife's best mates, her fiance is a Blackburn Rovers fan, of all things. So he spoke to me about Ashley Phillips because he's one that does look at the youth team. Mentioned he is going to be a beast. When we signed him, I even put a tweet out saying the year's 2029 and Ashley Phillips is leading Tottenham out as captain. That's how much faith I have in him. He's coming through. Vuskovic is coming through. Dorrington's coming through. If we sign I think we do need a left centre back still, but it's not going to be one that's going to come in and literally be better than Van der Ven, which is hard to do anyway. And I think they're solely looking at what's behind them at the moment. I saw another couple of questions come in. So let me just try and find them. Yep. Where were they? Okay, where we go.
I've got a question. I've got a question for the chat, and it's a genuine question. So this is not a piss take. This is a genuine question. As of right now, would you take Vicario or David Raya? A genuine question. Genuine question.
Yeah, you're such it up.
Listen. Genuine question. That is I want the chat to say, be honest, Vicario or Raya.
Well, okay, so there's 380 people in here. They may not know what went on here. So when we went to, this has been a joke with me and James now for the best part of a year, but actually probably a year now.
Look at Ben.
When David was
Bring Ben's comment up. Bring Ben's comment out.
Oh, what's he done? Oh, just him laughing. There you go. So
one before.
Where is it? Oh, you bastard. So, so when Raya was coming in, and I really wanted Raya. And then obviously it apparently broke down for whatever reason. I was at We Are Tottenham TV that day, and I can't remember if I was with Ben and Simeon. I was with Ben because I was sitting in Simeon's seat. And I probably had one of my biggest, most notorious rants at Daniel Levy that I've ever done. I went absolutely batshit crazy, like mad. And then obviously James put out a tweet saying, when Vicario came, I had a massive argument with Ryan Isaacs. saying, here you go, you watch within 24 hours, the cheaper option will come up, yada, yada, yada. And then it did. And then this man next to me said, people wanted us to go down the Brighton model and identify talent. And then the second we do it, people go mad, which was me. And I spent a year saying, I am sorry, I got it badly wrong. Vicario is by far the superior goalkeeper. Although I will say, Raya went on to win the Golden Glove, but it was because he had a formidable defence.
But that's why I was asking a question. I'm being serious when I'm saying I'm asking a question. Would you rather take Raya or Vicario like now?
Oh.
And my next question for that is because someone like, if we said somebody like, not Eze, someone like Morgan Gibbs-White, I know who you liked, but in a year's time, we could be seeing the same thing with Archie Gray if he's playing week in, week out. Does that make sense? Like,
yep.
Like players people think they want, and then when we find a good gem like hopefully Gray, Phillips, would we then look at the things and be like, oh no, actually we've made the right decision?
Do you know what? We'll do this as the final question. I've seen there's some other questions, and I'm sorry that I'm only bringing this one up, but this one is a phenomenal question. Okay, and it's from Rich Coberman. It's good to see. I hope you're recovering from having your tooth taken out. If you had to sell Romero to get Isaac, would you? Now, obviously, this is just hypothetical. This is just, it ain't happening. But if Isaac was coming to Tottenham, but the only way it happened is Romero obviously went, let's say, Real Madrid, are you taking that deal? And
no.
People in the chat, yes or no? Just yes or no, because I'm going to run through them.
No. My reason for that is because I know people fell in love, and all the showboating and the glory last season was Mickey van der Ven sprinting past and slide tackling. But I think what you didn't see is the great defending from Romero, the last minute blocks, the playing it out from the back. That all come from Romero. So would I sell our best defender to get our best attacker? No. I would rather us just go out and buy a striker and keep the best defence. Defence wins you leagues and titles.
Do you know what? And I'm not just saying this because you've gone that way. I'm going to say yes. And the only reason I'm saying yes, I agree with everything you said. Everything you said. But we were just talking that if we lose Richarlison, we need to, so we haven't got a striker. If Romero goes, there is a ready-made replacement in Dragusin. I'm not saying Dragusin is better than Romero, because that'd be crazy if I did. But I look at it, we need a striker so badly, and Isaac would be as much as I want Gyökeres, Isaac's up there to me, but he's
that's not fair to sort of say we're going to lose a player to gain a player.
No, this is just hypothetical. This is
no, I know. But that's like saying, would you sell Vicario to sign a striker? Like you would, like I don't know. For me, I demand a striker anyway, and I don't think we should be selling our best players to replace him with another. I think you need both.
When you look at it, when we sold, when we got Bale, when Bale went to Madrid, some of that money was used by Madrid using that money that Arsenal gave them for Ozil. So they realised that for that. So they had not, and like I said, anyone watching this now, watching this later, whatever. This isn't me saying I really, really, really want it to happen. I'm just looking at it right now from a squad set. We desperately need a striker, and there is no other if Richarlison's out. Whereas we have a defender.
So what I would do is, if, say, for example, Romero was going to go, I would like us to profit from that. So I wouldn't like us to lose a defender, gain a striker, but I wouldn't mind losing a defender, gaining a striker and a winger. So you know what, like Liverpool did with Coutinho, they sold Coutinho and then they bought the keeper and the centre back. I'm okay with that. If we sold Romero 100 million and bought Ollie Watkins and Anthony Gordon, I'm just pulling two names out. I know they're different values, but if we did that, then I'm fine with it. You always strengthen your team. You don't sell one to buy one.
There we go. So right, listen. Before I wrap the show up, first of all, James, thank you so much for joining. There's 400 people in here, which is brilliant, and we really hope you enjoyed the show. Just so you know, once I end this show in a couple of minutes, don't go anywhere because you will be redirected automatically to the show with the Trust if you're as well tuned in to watch that now. Just to say, Martin We have a very, very open professional discussion. I do push back on him a few times. I learn a lot of stuff about the trust. Do I appreciate them more or get what they're trying to do a bit more without flying off the handle? Yeah, I do. Do I agree still with everything they're doing? Not really. But some parts a lot more than I did. I've taken a lot more away from it than I thought I would. Martin is going to be doing some more things with us, which is wonderful. Like we said, he's stepped into the Lion's Den. He really has. I went on with Stel onto Flav's channel last year, onto the Fighting Cock, and everyone that was Levy out was really, really happy that Flav opened the debate to go onto his show, which was great. There's a communication. But obviously, because of my reputation, Stel's reputation, Levy out, whatever was going on, the abuse people gave, it came to Flav, it came to me, it came to Stel, it came to regarding the show. I don't want it to be like this. This has been a very respectful thing. Martin is going to come on and do a live Q&A. We only had him for 2 hours. We used that 2 hours really, really well. It's a really good conversation, and I hope you all enjoy it. What we would like in it is if the chat we are premiering it, so the chat is going to be open like it is now. But no chats will be brought up on the screen, like, for instance, this, because it was filmed 2 days ago. Myself, Ben Kaufman, Roadman James, Dave will be in there. Sorry, Martin may be in there. So just please enjoy the stream. We'll be there commenting with you. But if you can leave your comments, if you can also share the stream as far and wide as possible, because there's some really, really, really good stuff in there. So, James, I just want to say thank you very much for joining me. Where can people find you?
So I'm always in the chats. I'm always speaking to you, making sure everything's all right. I'm always sort of lurking in the chats here. Also, get over to Ben's channel, Coffee Company. That's I enjoy that at lunchtimes. I try to skive off of work a little bit and join in a bit of the fun show. So I'm always in the chats of everybody. So just just spread positivity. Like Brian's saying, we're trying to do new content, whether that involves me or not. Like, let's all be nice. That's the one good thing about, I do find, again, your chat and Ben's chat. It's all nice.
There we go. So I have to say, when you use the word lurking, is that a new buzzword? Is that before monitoring or after monitoring?
I'll have to speak to Levy. Sorry, mate. I can't disclose that right now.
You need to seek outside legal counsel. Okay, I get it. But guys, listen, we're going to end it there. Just stay tuned. It's going to automatically redirect you to the show. Thank you, everyone who has joined and been a part of the show once again. All I will say, as always, let me get it ready. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always,
Raya in.
Out, you bastard.